The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots, streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here we are. It's time for a Wednesday edition of Mick Shots inside the SWBC podcast studio at the beautiful Star in Frisco. And what a beautiful day it is out on the practice field as the Cowboys are headed out there as we speak. Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
Is all here today.
The gang is here, and it's game week, Everson.
Right.
Yeah, Everson has returned.
I have returned to save you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yesterday we had to do Talking Cowboys. Nate joined us.
Nate,
He just
that's
walked
better.
in. Nate
That's
just
better.
walked
See,
in.
That's Nate, man. Come on.
See, and why he calls that Talking Cowboys, that's the original Talking Cowboys.
That's right.
Nate Newton.
When
And so
Nate was on there, yeah.
And we're talking offensive line. As soon as he walked in, just as we were getting into the guard tackle thing.
So tell me, can I ask what exactly he had to say? Not exactly, but just give me a short
by
version.
the way, he had no intention of being on our show. He just wanted to come in here and sit and study up for his show, which is right after ours, and we put him on the air. Mm-hmm. And he had some great insight on the offensive line.
I think he did. And, talking about how they, can help Tyler Smith get himself grounded. Don't just send him out there, hang out to dry just the first couple snaps.
Right.
Make sure he kind of gets his feet going. And talked about how Jason Peters, in the room with all these young guys can really help out. And I think we saw that right off the bat. Terrence Steele and Tyler Smith were kind of in his ear during practice when it was going on. So, yeah, it was a good discussion. And now we go. They get the first practice in as we speak right now. But before I forget this, I want to know what I compete is.
I compete?
Yeah, with Everson Walls.
Everson?
You got an appearance coming up?
Oh, okay. I have many appearances. Yes. I'm sorry.
Good thing I
All I look at is the dollar sign at the end of those deals. I don't really, the cause and all of that is secondary. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I thought you were going to school us at some new place in Music City in Louisville.
I will be there just
Music
for the
City
third.
Mall in Louisville? It used to be Vista Ridge Mall?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Music City now. Yeah.
Okay.
I've done appearances there. I actually have. This will be my second one.
Right.
And, it's just going to be halftime of the game. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Just game watching. So at halftime, I'm going to be signing autographs. And that is a new facility there. That is a new place. They're trying to get their feet off, get it off the ground. And
so Sunday night, you're making an appearance during the game. You're watching the game.
And you can thank my classmate, Doug Donnelly, because Doug is the one that approached me with it. And I'm sure Doug will be there hanging out with me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of those video simulators that you can do golf, baseball,
I can't wait.
Basketball.
I can't wait.
It's called I Compete?
I Compete,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But this is the funny part. So I was listening when I was coming in on the radio, and they had a liner to do, and they were reading it, and they got to your name, and they had Emerson.
Oh, no, they did.
They caught it before
I'm blaming Doug. I'm blaming Doug Donnelly.
They caught it before they said it. They go, Emerson.
Emerson. All right. And go back in the day when, I guess 40 years ago, when Everson was a rookie.
Yeah.
Did that tire you out when you were?
It did. It still does.
Yeah.
No, it still does.
You still get
Even
people?
on TV,
and you
right?
know what? It's usually those rural guys,
Rural guys.
Yeah, they it's like they have some chew in their mouth, when they say it.
Oh, Emerson.
Yeah, it sounds kind of cool when they say it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, what's up, man? I don't even correct them. They keep calling me Emerson, man. It sounds cool.
Hey,
What time do you think?
Oh, wait. Who is this? This is the producer supreme, Chris Beam, joining us now.
Hey, Bill. Hey, I looked up this establishment that they were going to, and the first thing I look at is their hours of operation on Sunday.
Uh-huh.
You better get there early.
Well,
because
this is Thursday.
Oh, you're doing it Thursday.
Yeah, I'm doing
tomorrow
Thursday.
night.
Oh,
Okay.
it's tomorrow, not the Cowboy
I thought it was
game.
a Cowboys
this
game.
is gonna
Tomorrow
be-
night.
this
That
tomorrow.
makes more
Cowboys
sense.
on Sunday night, they close at 10. The game's not even going to be over by the time they close.
I
No,
compete.
this is gonna be Thursday night. So at halftime, I'll be signing autographs.
Well, they're only open until 10 on Thursday night, too. So
That's why I'm doing it at halftime.
We just gave a free advertisement to I Compete
I
Experience
Compete.
at Music City Mall in Louisville. This portion of Mix Shots brought to you by I Compete.
Just to get
this is just
to get a joke out there about Emerson.
just so you can go see Everson Walls. Get him
And
out
you
there.
know,
He likes to take pictures.
Doug Donnelly deals with all types of golf outings and things of that nature. He insures golf holes. You know, like
Like the
hole in
hole-in-one type
win a
thing?
car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You get that. That's what his business does.
Okay.
They insure all of those holes. So he's all encompassed with this whole golf thing and anything that you can do to enhance your game. Doug is all about it. So so an odd business to get into, but definitely lucrative. Doug does a good job with that. Does a really good job with that. And he can't play. He doesn't play golf as much as he used to, though.
He was supposed to play in Cliff's tournament.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be with me, but I think he probably found a better pairing. Than
Yeah.
having to
He
deal
told me
with
about playing with you. I've been meaning to bring this up. That year that it was deathly hot,
Yes.
and you and Butch Johnson were his teammates, right?
Yeah.
He said you guys were horrible.
Well, there's
He
break,
said
there's breaking
you guys.
news.
He said you
Actually,
and Butch.
Butch was a very good putter. He had the putting part down.
And see, that's me. That's what I do. I'm a putter. I can't hit.
How well would you play if you played once a year,
Yeah, like me.
like me?
Yes, right. He said you guys were so bad, his heart hurt, and he had to quit.
Yeah, but he was running out of gas because it was so hot.
It was hot.
I
That was
finished
one of the
the
hottest
18
golf
holes.
days ever. and it was so bad that day. Preston Pearson has a torn labrum. And so he's limping up and down tee box to the holes and all of that. We got into the clubhouse that day. You guys were on the dessert stage of the meal. That's how
And you guys needed IVs.
we were still out there. I called Preston Pearson 2 days later. He said he's just getting out of bed. So that was a tough day. The
Well-
Cliff Harris Memorial Golf Tournament.
Yeah.
Let's look for better weather next time.
Hopefully the Cowboys have better health than that heading into this game.
And so, do you have breaking news on the health of this team? You'll have more breaking news once we get. This is the first,
right?
This is the first practice report of the season coming our way later this afternoon, right?
Now, I did see Kelvin Joseph out there, so it looks like he was going to do something. I don't know how much. Jordan Lewis will find out on the hamstring. Mike McCarthy said they'd be out there. They would be going through the first part of practice. So from an injury standpoint, we'll find out a little bit more.
Got some young
after
guys
this
going to
one.
be playing in
well,
the game. I mean, quality minutes.
all over the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, defensive back,
Left tackle.
Left tackle.
offensively
Right tackle, left guard, not just young, but some inexperienced.
That's what I
guys,
mean.
too.
Inexperienced guys. We're throwing some guys into the fire
But
here.
we went over that on Tuesday, though, that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in the same boat
thing.
on their offensive line. And so it'd be interesting.
And
to
so
see.
are the Cincinnati Bengals and the Kansas City Chiefs and the New England
and the
Patriots
Tampa Bay's
and,
wide
and the
receivers
Los
also
Angeles
having
Rams
problems.
and the Green Bay
Yeah.
So
Packers.
if you're
Everybody in the
listening out
league, if
there-
you lose a starter, you're in trouble on
if
the
you're
offensive
listening
line.
out there and you have a son, raise him to be an offensive lineman because there's not enough of them.
No. Raise him to be a long snapper.
A long snapper.
Yeah, that's what he raise him to be a long snapper. That is it.
There's only 32 of them.
And they live well. They live well. I can't see them having many injuries.
They have long careers.
Long careers.
As long as you don't make one mistake.
Just don't make a tackle.
Yeah, you have to be perfect. That's the only problem. Yeah,
that's true.
Okay, and then on Tampa Bay side, as I am prone to do, I listen to the enemy and trying to find the best podcast to listen to get up to speed on what's going on with Tampa Bay. And their beat reporter Rick Stroud has a podcast, one of the newspaper guys in Tampa, and they're talking Chris Godwin. And so now the big story in Tampa, and he's much like Michael Gallup here, he's coming off not only an ACL but MCL. He had surgery January 3rd. And in fact, he didn't know at the time that he had torn his ACL when he got hurt in late December. So the timing is kind of similar to Michael Gallup, although Gallup's surgery didn't happen until February.
A month later.
But the big news in Tampa on Monday is that he was out there on the practice field without his knee brace on, and so they're thinking, okay, you're telling me there's a chance he can play Sunday night, so it'll be interesting.
We will not see him for a while.
I'm thinking he's not playing Sunday night.
He is not
either.
playing.
Yeah.
He is not playing.
I saw that he had the medical jersey on, though.
Yes, he did. And so. And he was on a podcast himself, Chris Godwin, saying it's more important for me to be healthy the second half of the season than the first game of the season.
True.
So,
sort of Jerry's thoughts about Michael Gallup. Don't let him get hurt again in the first game and miss the rest of the year. Ease him in. They were also at one point in training camp, Mike Evans was nursing an injury.
That's true.
And so was Russell Gage, their other starting wide receiver.
And Julio Jones, apparently he's healthy right now.
Right, and they've got him listed second team behind Mike Evans. So we'll see where all that goes. But their shortcomings right now, if the wide receivers are healthy, they're better off than the Cowboys, because we know the Cowboys will have two guys missing with Gallup and James Washington. But at least James Washington was out there running on Monday, so that was a good sign.
That is a really good sign, considering he's not scheduled to be back till, December?
No, October.
No. Washington, probably October.
Okay.
He's going to miss the first 4 weeks, I would imagine, first 4 games. And then we'll see where they go from there.
And that would take us through the Washington game, and so it'd be the Rams game. It'd be the 5th game.
Yeah, so they would hope to get him back. But in the meantime, we got a bunch of young guys out there that they're going to rely on and step up, and maybe a lot of 2 tight end sets.
Yeah,
too.
as much as we in training camp a month ago, we're talking about the young wide receivers, and especially after Washington went down with the injury, and do they have enough? Well, we lost sight of it a little bit after the Tyron Smith injury, because we've been focused so much on left tackle. But now, here it is. It's game week, and the Jalen Tolberts of the world. It's your time as playing in your first NFL regular season game.
And Dennis Houston, undrafted. Simi Fehoko with all of 7 snaps last year. Noah Brown, who's just been, kind of the 4th, 5th receiver on this team.
But
he's
always
kind of
solid.
Number 2 right now.
Always solid. Always solid.
So, we'll see. We always talk about all these questions we need answered in training camp, and I don't know that we got all the answers one way or the other. So we'll start finding answers out at 7:20 on Sunday night, not only about the wide receivers, but about the offensive line, and if this defense is what we think it is. Mike McCarthy made a mention that he thought this could be one of the best defenses he's had since 2010, and that's the year.
That was a good year for him.
Yeah, they happened to go to the Super Bowl, and he said that was my top defense, and I think these guys can be
that was
as
Super
good.
Bowl right here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a lot of things.
So you're telling us we're going to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, right. Based on this
is that
defense.
what you're saying, Spags?
Yeah.
Can we mark you down right here?
Well,
right
McCarthy himself was a defense win in the training camp. What was his quote? Defense wins.
He said defense wins.
Of course, the cliche is defense wins championships. Quarterbacks win Super Bowls.
Yeah, exactly.
I've never heard that.
Yeah, he said that during training camp.
Yeah, one of his press conferences. And
Well, that's what happened when you got Brett Favre for a quarterback. Yeah, you say that stuff.
And Aaron
Rodgers.
Yeah. So he should have won more, huh?
So that takes you right back to 2010. So he had his best defense. So defense won the championship,
Right.
and Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl for him.
Yeah, there you go.
Here.
So anyway, those are some of the things we'll keep an eye out for, and keep an eye on Tampa Bay.
But for both of us, I think Nate made a good point. Offensive line problems, wide receiver problems. Every pass we see, except for maybe some setups, they're going to be quick passes. You don't have time to worry about your offensive lineman if he's going to hold on that play action pass for a long period of time. You get those quick steps, have them cut down those defensive linemen, and get those hands down for the quick passes. And Tampa Bay is good at it anyway. Cowboys are good at it anyway. I think you're going to see that all night long on Sunday night.
Okay, so I finished Hard Knocks last night. I think that was the last episode.
That was it, yep.
I caught up.
It's a sad episode. The cuts that are made.
The cuts and everything. and they really didn't have that player to focus on other than Hutchinson. So they focus on Dan Campbell, the coach, right. And Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator, who, by the way, he's a trip.
He is.
He was always kind of quiet here. He talked and he was really good, but he never really, But boy, I never seen that part of him. So speaking of Jerry Jones on Tuesday was talking about how he's done some of his best work operating without a net, meaning a safety net. And so he was asked about, well, do you have a safety net on offense, knowing that you're not going to have Tyron Smith out there? And he said, we've got to create some kind of safety net. And then he listed all this stuff out. He said, the net is Zeke. The net is the running game. The net is play action. The net is giving some help. The net is the tight ends. The net is Pollards and running backs and Zeke and the other guy. And he said the net is a quarterback that puts the ball to the best open, to not only the best open player, but not necessarily the best receiver. So he went through all these safety nets on what they need to do to be able to operate somewhat shorthanded. And I have, the first thing they asked Mike McCarthy this morning was about the running game. If the Cowboys can do a better job running the ball. Well, I get it. They only ran for 42 yards in last year's season opener against Tampa Bay. Guess how many yards Tampa Bay ran for? 52 yards. So it was a passing game.
Oh, that
right?
was a great game.
And it's like let's not get and it started right away last year with the running game, right? They ended up with 400. Dak ended up throwing for 403 yards, right? Who cares how you got the yards?
Right.
You ended up scoring 29 points.
And you had a chance to win the game.
If the defense had held up their end of the bargain, you would have won the game. They produced 451 yards against Tampa Bay, and that was supposed to be one of the best defenses out there, right?
That's right.
So
it dominated in the Super Bowl the previous year, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so you want to run the ball better, but if they decide no, you're not running the ball, which they did with the amount of people they put on the line of scrimmage and how big they were up the middle, it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll just throw the ball.
It was clear all season long. Any team that wanted to come in and play successfully against the Cowboys, their game plan, stop the run and make Dak Prescott beat us.
And
that's been all season long.
And he beat 12 of them.
Yes.
So
and they got more yards.
Actually 11.
They got more yards than anybody else in Cowboys.
Although guess who and more yards than anybody else in the league.
Yes.
Now guess who was second? Tampa Bay.
And neither one ended up in the Super Bowl.
And here they come again.
Yeah.
So a little note, not note, but there's this little guy they got to worry about named Tom Brady, right? and he had and you can talk to this. How do you?
We're gonna have to talk about it after this break
Yes,
coming up.
and
So
when
tease it.
When we come back from this break,
Bill got a little quiet.
It's like, okay, at some point we're going to have to go to a break.
going to tell us how to defend Tom Brady.
All right, that's coming up next on Mick
Won't be a
Shots.
problem at all.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh. She's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. What was it? They go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state, based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cape Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, 214-225-4860, capepostcompany.com.
All right, on my way to the Star yesterday, I was disappointed when Everson wasn't here because I stopped off at a convenience store and I saw a guy with a Grambling T-shirt on. And I said, so do you go to Grambling? He said, yeah. And I said, when you get out? 83. And it said, you know Everson Walls? I know Emerson Walls. I played football with Emerson Walls.
Sure
Guy
did.
named Ray Davenport I'm giving a shout out to Ray Davenport. I told him about Mick Shots.
Chicago, Illinois.
He lives in Chicago, is here on business, and he says, hello, Everson, and gave me his business card. So
That
Everson,
was my backup defensive back. He played cornerback. Tried my best to teach him. Did my best. But that's why he's a car salesman right now. See, I couldn't get him to stick with it. I couldn't get him to understand.
Grambling Nation is all over the nation.
All over the nation, baby.
So how about that? Shout out to Ray Davenport, who is now a Mick Shots listener, Mickey.
Very
We
good.
Just recruited a Grambling listener
So
for
we
you.
won't talk about
the game
false
against
start,
Arkansas
right?
State.
Let's just talk about good things.
But I did. I drove away from that thinking, that guy, he played for the great Eddie Robinson.
Isn't that something?
You know?
He did. He did.
You know, you run across people in life and you don't realize what
And
their
I'ma tell you.
background is. And I was like, you know what? If I hadn't have struck up that conversation with the
never
guy
know.
wearing a Grambling T-shirt,
And that guy, he's one of those guys. You come to Grambling, you have a certain attitude of pessimism. And by the time you talk to Eddie Robinson in those 4 years there with him, then you have a whole different outlook on life. And that's his entire purpose for being there.
Hey, I ran across Eddie Robinson back in the 80s. I was covering Cowboys training camp, and then we went down to San Diego. I was working for a Lubbock station, and Maury Buford was a punter for the Chargers then. And so we went down there and interviewed Maury. And we got in
What
there
year was this?
late on a Sunday night. It's probably 83 or so.
Yeah, that's when they came to camp.
And so the Grambling coaching staff was in it was late on a Sunday night. We got in and we were looking for our room in the dorms there at University of San Diego, and we walked in on a room, and the Grambling coaching staff is in. We walked in on Eddie Robinson watching coaching film.
That's me and Coach right there.
There you go.
Golly, you must be older than me. I wasn't even covering the team in '83.
You got that, Chris? Can they put that
And that was a great moment, though. And as nicest guy in the world.
Yeah,
you know?
he is.
And next day I met Don Coryell, and he was the opposite. But we'll go on.
Right there in Thousand Oaks. That was right there in Thousand Oaks. Don Coryell. Cigarette smoking. He was all about it, baby.
Actually,
Hall of Fame finalist.
That's right.
I mean, he's going in next year.
That's right.
I mean, he'll go in. He'll get voted in.
Going in with Chuck Hawley.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so
my question. What do you do with Tom Brady?
How do you stop Tom Brady? You can't stop him.
Right.
You can only hope to contain him.
Very nice.
And that's just anytime you have someone that is playing with greatness, that's just how it is. And when they say you only control them, that means that first of all, you have to play for the big play. Don't be surprised when the big play is coming. That helped me get a lot of interceptions. I always assumed that they saw me. You know, assume that they're going to throw to your man. Assume that they're going to go for the big play. And everybody knows when Tom Landry gets to the 50-yard line, anytime around midfield, you can answer this, Bill. What does he do? What does Tom Brady do? What kind of play is he going to call when he gets close to midfield?
Going deep.
Going deep.
Mm-hmm.
He's going downtown. He has done that almost 90% of the games that he's played in, and everyone's always surprised about it. The play action is going to come around midfield because he's going to go for it as long as it's within his arm shot. He's going to go for the end zone. But to me, as far as I'm concerned, always play for the big play, just like you play Dak Prescott. Keep everything in front of you. All offensive coordinators and great players, they cannot stand to be held down to minimal yardage. Their egos are so big, they got to show it. They got to get to that midfield, and they got to go for it.
He did that against the Cowboys last year, late in the first half. That 47-yard touchdown pass to Antonio Brown gave the Bucs the lead at 21-16 at the half.
At the half.
I rewatched the game, and they came to that possession, and they crossed the 50-yard line, and Chris Collinsworth goes, you know what? He's going downtown.
Yeah.
This is where he likes to throw deep. So here's what happened. They ran it was Emmanuel Sanders, right? No,
Antonio Brown. Emmanuel Sanders, by the way, retired from football today.
That's what I had in my mind. It was Antonio Brown.
But Antonio Brown, by the way, was a 6th-round pick of the Steelers, and Emmanuel Sanders was like 3rd round.
Right.
I saw that note today.
So anyway.
But they both, Antonio Brown speaks for himself, but Emmanuel Sanders' career, by the way, shout out to him.
Yeah.
Former SMU Mustang, what a career he's had. Okay, go ahead.
So they basically run play action. He runs a 9 route, right? Anthony Brown's responsible for covering. We find out, though, he was supposed to trail underneath.
Yes.
So what happened on the play is the guy, Jordan Lewis, was in the slot, and he fell down. And the guy he was covering, DeMonte KZ, the safety on that side, said,
caught his attention.
I got to get that guy.
Caught his attention because he's wide open.
And they left Anthony Brown out to dry on the outside. Antonio.
Yes.
I'll get it right. Anyway, here's the funny thing that happened after the touchdown. And these are sometimes you say stuff at the moment and it's early. Al Michaels said, well, the 2 cornerbacks went off the board before the Cowboys got to draft, and they had to settle for Micah Parsons. And it's like, oh, would you like that fact now? You had to settle for Micah Parsons.
They had no idea.
Oh, that's
they
funny.
Had no
that's
clue.
So funny.
And it was like, oh, so what happened in the next 16 games, right? But yeah, I was going to point out when you said that, it occurred to me. So the one thing that Mike McCarthy pointed out is to deal with a guy that has that much experience, to try to get pressure on him, it has to come up the middle.
Yeah.
He said he's seen everything off the edge, right? He knows when to step up.
That's always been the best place to pressure Brady. And that's unusual, you would think, because he's so tall.
Right.
You would think that would be a weakness because he could definitely see over the lineman more than most quarterbacks can. But that's the way you want to get up to, I guess, because of his lack of mobility. He moves well in the pocket, but when you control the outsides, you restrict his lateral movement, then you bring him up the middle. You're almost bringing him into that rat trap. And that's the best way when you bring it up the middle. It's almost like encouraging him to go into that rat trap, look up the middle. That's where the pressure's coming from. And usually that's where he throws his most interceptions, and when the pressure does come up the middle.
So I don't know about you guys, but I think from a defensive standpoint this year, maybe the spot the Cowboys have improved the most is their interior defensive linemen.
And they had to. They had to.
I mean, you got to remember Neville Gallimore, missed the first
elbow.
He's been oft injured.
Yeah.
And in Oso, that was the first
rookie.
game he played in his career.
Right. Rookie.
Bohanna
was a rookie. Tristan Hill was still on PUP, I think it was, or non-football. I forgot what list he was on. He wasn't playing. So now you've got all these guys back, and just maybe the Cowboys and with them having to start 3 different interior offensive linemen.
How about this? I'm just looking at the box score from last year's game against Tampa Bay.
I got it right here if you need it.
No, I've got it. I'm looking at it right now. All right. The top 3 receivers for Tampa Bay in that game were Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Rob Gronkowski. Obviously, there's no Antonio Brown, there's no Gronk, and there's likely no Godwin in this game. Those 3 players against Dallas last year combined for 22 catches for 326 yards and 4 touchdowns.
And not surprising because we were even younger, obviously. No, less experienced last year.
They're not in the game this year.
And they held Mike Evans to 3 catches for 24 yards.
Yeah, but hell, they let everybody else catch the ball. So who cares? but when you try to go against these guys, Brady's having some issues physically, personally as well. To me, I say we throw everything at him. I want to see where he is right now. And I know he's Tom Brady, but he's also still 45 years old, okay? And he still missed most of training camp, all right? It's not just about him being able to perform. It's his connection with his wide receivers now. These are all new receivers, and he also has to deal with the lack of experience as well as connection now that they have during training camp. I think that this game needs to be chaotic as can be for the Cowboys. I think the more chaos for the Cowboys, the better it is for the Cowboys defense. We need to keep Brady off his
get him
off
his
toes,
spot.
off his spot. Yes.
Right.
And I think we can do that this year. Last year, I was not expecting us to stop Tom Brady in any form or fashion. I figured we would have to play the way we played, and that would be have to match his greatness with our own, which we did. But this year, I wouldn't say that that's the case on either side because both of us are dealing with depleted positions, and we're also dealing with lack of prep time for Tom Brady.
And when we come back on Mix Shots, what is the best way for the Cowboys to create chaos on Sunday night at AT&T Stadium?
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. Or was it they go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Not available in every state based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
We paid how much for those lessons?
Shh, she's doing great.
Oh, yeah, totally. Can you pass me a Pepsi Zero Sugar? Great job, honey! Oh, Oh, look at that. That's not the end.
No way. Now it's time for the encore.
You know what? You're right. 5 times? Not enough times.
For everyone who traded in rock concerts for their kids' recitals, you've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? Have you been treating it well? Has it been going places? If not, then it's about time you start using SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the best way to get your butt tickets to live events. Just ask the thousands of other butts who have rated it the #1 ticketing app. So what are you waiting for? Download the app now or visit SeatGeek.com to get tickets to sports, concerts, and live events and make your butt happy. SeatGeek. Get your seat in a seat.
Back to Mick Shots.
Head to AT&T Stadium this Saturday, September 10th, to experience Rally Days presented by SeatGeek. Get ready to cheer on your Dallas Cowboys with tours of AT&T Stadium, ticket giveaways, games, inflatables, and more. Visit attstadium.com/Rally Days for tickets and more information.
Some jersey number changes for the Cowboys coming out of the preseason. Emerson, did you hear what number Ka'Vontae Turpin is now wearing?
What is he wearing?
He was wearing number 2, and of course Jordan Lewis wearing number 2. In the regular season, you can't have duplicate numbers, and so he had to switch numbers. Ka'Vontae is wearing another single-digit number.
9.
Yes.
There you go. I like that. Number 9 is the coolest number out there. I'm sorry.
Are we, since he still has number 9 on the practice field, are we to assume that the blessing has come down that
From
he will
above?
wear number 9 during the game?
I think that's probably right.
And he would be truly, they call me Little 9 because my dad was big 99. So this guy is truly Little 9. He's a minute young man.
He is. Mm-hmm. Yes. I thought it was interesting, and we will talk about creating chaos. And maybe that's a guy that can create some chaos in a different
Speaking
way.
of Little, not to interrupt you, John Fossil said of Turpin, he goes, "Don't call him little, call him tough."
Mm-hmm. I was intrigued by what Kellen Moore had to say about him. And as I watched Cavonte Turpin throughout the preseason, it's obvious his skills being able to on special teams as far as his return ability and everything. He is a natural catcher of the football.
Yes, yes. It's amazing. He's got the same natural skills that C.D. Lamb has, catching a punt. It's not easy.
Right. And I'm not talking catching a punt.
Yes,
I'm talking about catching passes.
But when he catches a punt, it's not all this stutter step stuff. It just comes right to him. And in that Chargers practice, I want to say it was Cooper Rush threw him. He was running an out, and the pass came to the inside, and he spun around and makes a diving catch against his body. And I was like, okay, this guy's got some receiving skills too. Now, will he run the right route or run them accurately? But part of the reason he won that USFL Most Valuable Player Award was what he did as a receiver, because I think he only returned one kick for a touchdown.
So a lot of the reason he was the MVP was what he did on offense.
Wide receiver. And I think you got to sprinkle this guy in and make them understand that the only reason make them understand not the only reason he's in there is to run a 9 route. You better cover him, right? You better cover the underneath stuff, because once he gets the ball in his hands, boy, and they're gonna send him on a jet sweep just to catch their attention, but he's more than a jet sweep guy.
Well, the two things we have to figure out: can he take a hit? Because he is minute, and they're gonna smash him.
Yep.
Okay, that's just the way it is. Second thing is I love how when you can catch like that, it's like multitasking. You don't just concentrate on catching. Catching is secondary. He's already got this here. His mind is already, okay, where are my feet? Where is the defender? Is he on my left shoulder, right shoulder? When I catch it, can I turn right away this way? Can I pivot this way? Those are the kind of things that impress you with someone that can catch, because they can catch and it's not just catch. They can catch and ... They can do other things as they catch. So that multitasking, that's what makes him dangerous.
You know what I just did?
Huh.
I just picked him up on my fantasy team.
Good.
Sounds good.
Glad I can talk you into something.
But I'm still not sure he's going to be wearing number 9 Sunday night.
Oh, I think.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, they just switched.
Well, I know.
He didn't have to put.
I know he's got it on. I'll just believe it when I see it on Sunday night.
What do you want to wear, 8?
No, he's not wearing 8.
He's not wearing 8.
He's not wearing 8, and I'll believe it when I see it.
So
I don't know anything.
Somebody else's have to give up a number.
I don't know. There's other numbers in the universe.
Not number 9.
Yeah,
he's too small to wear 80.
Yeah, the numbers will look
it's
way
got to
too
be
big.
single digit.
Okay, Kelvin's in 1. Jordan Lewis is 2. Anthony Brown's 3. Dak is 4. He ain't wearing Anger's 5.
Wilson 6.
Trayvon's 7.
And
there's no 8 or 9. Well, he's going to have 0.
0. I don't know that's allowed in the NFL.
It wouldn't look good either.
Yeah.
Double 0 is allowed. Jim Otto wore double 0.
Unless you're only lineman can.
He needs a single digit.
And he can't wear 11. I mean, 11 would be Parsons. Is
11. Yeah, damn, that would have been good.
10. 10's open.
That's too. The 0 is too big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be single digit.
17.
So that's why he's wearing 9.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
We got to the bottom of that.
Creating chaos.
So, as a matter of fact, talking to Dan Quinn, he was talking about Brady, and he was talking about what you need to do with him. And one of the things is, he said, you better be at your best at the moment of the game that will separate you, like the big play, the big moment, like they didn't do it on that last drive last year in the opener when
Brady gets to midfield.
Yeah, 29, 28
Be ready
lead.
for it. That's what I said earlier. Be ready for it. He can see you.
Right. and he was talking about how one of the things that they've evolved is they've got speed, and they're faster than maybe they were last year. Not just talking about the edge or the safety position. He's talking about linebackers along with his defensive front. So that was one of the things.
Tampa got swept by the Saints last year, right?
Yeah.
They did that with speed. Their entire defense they're not very strong, but they do have speed. And that's how they were able to just confound their the passing game. And if you recall, I forget number 22's name for the Saints. I think he's gone. I think they just traded. He was traded somewhere else, but he was talking trash.
It was the corner.
The cornerback, yeah. He was talking trash. He was short, so he was all under Brady's chin.
Right.
Talking
under
trash.
His chin.
He was under his chin talking trash. So that speed, it confounds Brady a little bit. So creating that chaos may speed the game up for him. And of course, he's Brady. I get it. But his wide receivers.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
His wide receivers may not be ready for that uptick in speed.
Right.
So we have to create the chaos, not just for him, but for those that want to.
And think about the importance of that game. And when I went back and the Cowboys squandered a potential 11 points in that game. Missed field goal, missed extra point, having to kick a field goal from the 2-yard line.
And that's when everybody started talking about McCarthy with time management.
Yeah, you left.
So we had a
4
time management problem in there as well.
So you look at that game, and I understand it was the first game of the year. Tampa Bay finished 13-4. The Cowboys finished 12-5. They were the 2nd seed. The Cowboys were the 3rd seed.
Yep.
Had they won that game, they would have finished 13-4. Tampa Bay would have finished 12-5. The Cowboys would have had the 2nd seed, not the 3rd seed, and they wouldn't have
So the Niners probably would have had to play Tampa then instead of the Cowboys.
Yes, yeah exactly. And so it made it's the first game. I understand it, and things happen afterwards, right? You can't assume,
right.
But still, had they won that game, they're the second seed in the league, and who knows how the narrative would have changed.
It's 12:45.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
On the
you know what we're doing tomorrow? It's opening day, opening night in the NFL, and we are making our picks for the season tomorrow. That's your homework assignment.
All right.
Okay?
I don't know if I have time for that much.
All right, just off the top of your head tomorrow, you're going to make your picks, okay? We're going to hold your feet to the fire. And
I'm going to pick my own categories.
Okay, you can do that.
That's right.
You got free reign.
Our own
you can
That's
create
good.
chaos here on Mix Shots. Tomorrow, have a great Wednesday, and I know Mickey cannot wait for that first practice report of the season coming out later this afternoon. We'll see you again tomorrow at noon.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?